ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। गोष्पदीकृतवाराशिं मशकीकृतराक्षसं रामायणमहामालारत्नं वन्दे नीलात्मजं। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। वाल्मीकिर्मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं को न याति परां गतिम्। वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षाद् रामायणात्मना। Om. Dear friends, we are listening to the brief narration of Rama's story by Narada to Valmiki. So that is where we are, and that is the first sarga of the first part of Ramayana. First part of Ramayana is Balakanda, and the first sarga or the first chapter in it is called Bala Ramayanam. That is the Prathama sarga of Balakanda. We are there, and in the last talk we saw how Rama became friends with Sugriva, and then they promised each other to help each other. So that is where we are. But still, Sugriva was not fully confident about the valor of Rama, about the capacity of Rama. Sugriva Nityah Shankitaschasит. We saw Raghava Pratyay. What is this? Sugriva Shankitaschaseen Nityam Viryena Raghave. He was doubting whether this man would be able to defeat, whether this man would be able to kill Vali. So that is where we are. And then, then he showed the skeleton of that Dundubhi, the mighty demon who was killed by Vali. And then Rama just simply smiled, and then he just tossed it with his toe, and then he threw it away to several miles. And then he also shot an arrow, a very powerful arrow, through seven huge trees. And this arrow went and it passed through all of them. And he also broke a hill with an arrow. And then he also broke the earth, and then it dug deep into the earth. Girim Rasatalam Chaiva. Janaya Girim Rasatalam Chaiva. Rasatalam is some nether world. So below this world there is another nether world. That is what our Puranas say. So he broke into that. So like that he showed his prowess. Then he got satisfied. So that is where we are. Tatah pritamanastena vishwastas samahakapihi kishkindham ramasahito jagamasha guham tada. Then Pritamanaha means then this man was fairly assured and satisfied. He was happy. Then Vishwastaha means he trusted. Vishwasa is a trust. Vishwasta is he got a trust. Vishwastassa Mahakapihi Kishkindham Ramasahito Jagama. He went to that place called Kishkindha. Kishkindha is a place in, we can say central Karnataka. Central or maybe slightly northern Karnataka. That is, we are seeing the path of Rama from Sarayu. He started at Sarayu. Ayodhya is on the banks of Sarayu. He came slightly down south and then down, and then he crossed Ganges. And then he came to Janasthana. And then he came down to Dandakaranya. Now he has come down to Karnataka. So that is where we are. So from Karnataka we will see that he will go to a place called Rameshwaram. That is the southern tip of the country. And then from there he builds the bridge, and then he goes to the Lanka. So that is what we are going to see. So Kishkindham Ramasahito Jagamacha Guham Tada. So this chap Vali was staying in some huge cave. Of course, that cave itself is his capital for all these, Vali, Sugriva and all these people. The caves, they are their, houses. So, Jagamacha Guham Tada, he went to that cave where this Vali was there with his wives. Then, Tato Garjad Harivaras Sugrivo Hema Pingalaha Tena Nadena Mahata Nirjagama Harishwaraha Tataha Agarjad Harivaraha. The word Hari has two meanings. Hari means Lord Vishnu, that is one meaning. Hari also means a monkey. Harivaraha, the huge monkey, the great monkey. Harivara. Because this word Harivara, Haripungava, Harivara, etc., we come across that word several times in Ramayana. Haripungava means it doesn't refer to Hari. It refers to, say, the monkey chief, Harisattama, Haripungava, Harivira. So like that. Tato garjad harivaras sugrivo hema pingalaha. Hema pingalaha. This chap is slightly, hema is gold. So he is slightly golden yellow in color. This hema pingala is slightly golden yellow in color. And then by that loud sound, tena nadena mahata nirjagama harishvaraha. Again this word harishvara is used. The word used for Sugriva is harivaraha. Vara means Shrestha. Shrestha means one of the top fellows among the monkeys. Harishvaraha, the lord of the Haris, the lord of the monkeys. Harishvara is the lord of the monkeys. We should not think that it is Hari and Ishvara. Then Anumanya tada taram Sugrivena samagataha nijaghana cha tatrainam sharenaikena raghavaha. Narada is actually rushing through the story. Of course, we can't say that he is rushing through the story. Right now we are reading the summary. Narada might have told all the details. We have to presume like that. So then, what did Vali do? Vali, he took leave of his wife Tara. Tara, in fact, was originally the wife of Sugriva, and Tara was snatched away by Vali. So that is that's what is the earlier story. So Anumanya tada taram. So he told Tara, he convinced Tara, and then he came out for battle. Sugrivena samagataha. Then he encountered this Sugriva. Nijaghana cha tatrainam sharena ikena raghavaha. Sharena ekena raghavaha nijaghana. That is, with one powerful arrow, he killed that Vali. So that is what happened. And how he killed Vali, all that thing we will see. Was it, perfectly okay? Was it legitimate for Rama to kill Vali from behind a tree? All those things, there is a big discussion. And Vali, before dying, he puts so many questions to Rama. I heard that you are a very, very virtuous man. You stand for virtue. But how is it that you did not face me in battle? You just shot me from behind. Not from behind, from behind a tree. Then Rama gives a reply about how the dharma for humans is different from the dharma for animals. So you are in that subhuman status. So this is the way which is approved by dharma. So he explains certain things. Anyway, all that discussion we will see in Kishkindha Kanda. Nijaghana cha tatrainam sharenaikena raghavaha tatas sugriva vachanad hatva valinamahave sugrivameva tadrajye raghavah pratyapadayat. Sugriva vachanat and hatva valina mahave. So after having killed Vali in that while that battle was going on, after having killed, and he actually installed Sugriva himself. Sugrivameva tad rajye pratyapadayat. He kept Sugriva in that particular kingdom as the king. So because that is as I said, it is not a very highly evolved society. We can visualize like that. It was not a very highly evolved society, but it was a slightly subhuman level of society. And then again this Vali, after Vali's death, Sugriva again marries the same Tara. The same Tara is found very, very happy with this Vali, with this Sugriva. All that we are going to see in that Kishkindha Kanda. Then Sacha Sarvan Samaniya Vanaran Vanararshabha Dishah Prasthapayamasa Didrukshur Janakatmajam. Then Sacha, that Sugriva, Sa refers to the Sugriva. Then he summoned all the Vanaras. And he is now the king of all the Vanaras. And he summoned all the Vanaras from various directions. And we see how big is the Vanara. We will see in that Kishkindha Kanda how big that huge, that mighty army of Vanaras is. And then he sends them in different directions. Dishah prasthapayamasa. Dishah in various directions, in all directions. Actually in all the four directions he sends. And then there is a description of various quarters of the country. In that particular situation, Sugriva gives a description of various parts of the country, that is the whole Indian subcontinent. So towards north if you go, what are all the places you see? And towards east if you go, what are all the places, what are all the countries you are going to see, what are the places, what are the physical features, what are the rivers and what are the cities, etc., he describes. Similarly, when you go to west, what are the cities you are going to see? Similarly, when you go south, what are all the places you are going to see. So he tells right up to the ocean. Beyond the ocean, he doesn't say. Anyway, beyond the ocean there, once they go to that place, then they come across another bird, huge bird there, and that huge bird, that tells, oh, here beyond this, there is a place called Lanka. There, in fact, I have seen this fellow carrying a particular lady, a particular woman. This surely is that woman. So that is what he says. Anyway, in this particular scene, we see the whole description of the Indian subcontinent. So this is again an indication that the culture all over the country, it was there. Already this culture in the sense what we call Sanatana Dharma was actually there all over the country by that time. By the time of Rama himself, this culture was very much there. So because this is what we sometimes see in the criticism given by all these, say, these left-wing people. But if they see Ramayana, they will see that there is a description of the entire Bharatavarsha, Bharatakanda as we call it, the entire Bharatakanda. And if you see Mahabharata also, in Mahabharata also there are several scenes like this, where particularly when all the armies they assemble for, say, the battle. And all the armies right from South India, that is Chera, Pandya, all these kingdoms have been described in Mahabharata. All these people, they go and then they are on one side or the other, either on the Pandava's side or on the Kaurava's side, they fight a battle. And then in fact you will be surprised to know that there is one Akshauhini from even China. The Akshauhini which comes from China, because the Chinese people are all yellow in color, it was looking like a golden, say, a huge golden wave. It was looking like a huge golden sea, not wave. He describes, their sage Vyasa describes it as a golden sea. So that is what we see. So some participation from China also might have been there in that Mahabharata war. Otherwise Vyasa cannot write. So the entire India was under one particular culture, one particular civilization. That is what is Sanatana Dharma. So this is what we have to see. So then, Tato Grudhrasya Vachanat Sampater Hanuman Bali Shatayojana Vistirnam Pupluvela Vanarnavam. So from here, the summary of Sundarakanda starts. We know that there is another portion called Sundarakanda. Kishkindha Kanda is one portion of Ramayana. Kishkindha Kanda is, that is Hanuman going to, say, meeting Rama, and then he forges a friendship between Sugriva and Rama. Then again these people, they come, they exchange notes, and then they promise each other, and then Rama kills Vali. Then again, say, Sugriva is established as the emperor, and thereafter Sugriva sends all the, say, Vanaras in various directions. So then one particular team which goes to the southern tip, it was led by Vali's son Angada. Vali's son Angada, after Vali's death, Angada, of course, he pledges loyalty to Sugriva, his own uncle. And then along with Angada, this mighty Hanuman also is there. Along with Angada, Hanuman, Jambavan, and very mighty people are there in this team also. So these people, say, they come to that southern tip. So Grudhras there, Tato Grudhrasya Vachanat Sampater Hanuman Bali. That Grudra means that huge eagle. That huge eagle. And the name of that huge eagle is Sampati. Sampati is the older brother of Jatayu. Jatayu was earlier killed by, say, Ravana. We see, while he was abducting Sita, Jatayu interfered, and then at that time he cut the, say, wings of Jatayu and then killed Jatayu. So this Sampati accidentally overhears the conversation among all these kapis, among the, say, these Vanara warriors, and then it comes to know that this his younger brother was killed. Then he inquires with them, what happened to my younger brother? You are talking about Jatayu getting killed and all that. What happened to my younger brother? Then these people say, yes, this is what has happened. Then Sampati says, yes, now I have become too old. I can't even fly. So this is where this Ravana is there, and then you can actually go and then you can, say, locate Sita. So that is what he gives a clue. Tato Grudhrasya Vachanat Sampater Hanuman Bali Shatayojana Vistirnam Pupluve Lavanarnavam. Pupluve, he flew over. Pupluve, Plava. Plava dhatu means, Plava is fly. He flew over that Lavanarnavam, that sea, which is having a width of about Sheta Yojana Vistirna. Sheta Yojana, 100 yojanas. Yojana, we don't exactly know what is the, say, measure. Several miles, we can say. Sheta Yojana, 100 yojana. 100 yojana means several miles, we can say. We don't know what exactly is the distance between the southern tip of India and Sri Lanka. Now that Rama Setu is there, isn't it? That bridge is there. Bridge which is supposed to have been built by Rama. And of course, geologists, some geologists say that it is a natural formation. We don't know. Anyway, we see that. Then what does Hanuman do? Tatra Lankam Samasadya Purim Ravanapalitam Dadarsha Sitam Dhyayantim Ashoka Vanikam Gatam. So then, having reached Lanka, then he sees, he searches every house in that, say, Lanka, Purim Ravanapalitam, in that particular city. He sees, he searches every house and finally locates Sita, who was actually absorbed in meditation, absorbed in thought, let us say, Dhyayantim Ashokavanikam Gatam. She was kept in a place called a garden, called Ashoka Garden. Garden having those Ashoka trees. Ashoka is the name of a tree. So in that Ashoka garden, she was there and she was deeply absorbed in thought, deeply absorbed in meditation, we can say. Dhyayanti. You can take both the meanings, either as absorbed in thought or she was in meditation, thinking about Rama. So that way. Then he meets her. Nivedayitva bhijnanam pravrittincha nivedyacha samashvasya cha vaidehim mardayamasa toranam. Nivedayitva abhijnanam. Abhijnanam is that mark of recognition. So in olden days there was no ID card or anything. So when Hanuman goes there, he has to show his ID. He has to prove his ID. So his ID is some token which was given by Rama to show to Sita as an identification. Otherwise, how can she say recognize him, identify him? So this token of identification, that token of identification is called Abhijnanam. So we have a play in Sanskrit named Abhijnana Shakuntalam. Abhijnanam is the token of recognition, token of identification. So that token of identification relating to Shakuntala. So that is Abhijnana Shakuntalam. So here he gives that ring with this Abhijnanam, which is given by Rama to say Sita, who he shows it. Then he also tells what all has happened. Pravrittincha nivedyacha. Pravritti means what all has happened. Pravruttam. What all has happened. That is what is Pravruttam. Vinivedyacha. Samashvasya cha vaidehim mardayamasa toranam. Samashvasya cha vaidehim. He also consoled. Samashvasya. She was about to commit suicide. She was about to tie a sari and then to the tree, and then she was about to commit suicide. And then Ravana has given only 2 months time. If you do not yield within 2 months, if you do not accept me within 2 months, I am going to devour you. All these demons, the female demons which are surrounding you, I will ask them to make a mincemeat of you and then I will have it for my breakfast. So something like that he threatens. So she was deeply in sorrow. So at that time Hanuman meets her, he consoles her. And then he says, no, Rama, all these days Rama did not know where you are. Had he really known, he would have come by now. He is actually waiting for your information. In fact, nobody else knew your say whereabouts. So we found and we luckily found, and then I came in search of you. I located you due to great fortune. So that is what he says. And then Samashvasya Mardayamasa Toranam. Toranam means a particular huge arch, or you can say a huge gate of that Ashoka garden. That every garden, it was having a nice wall and probably a nice gate. And that nice gate, he just broke it. Why did he do that? Because he wanted to see the strength of the Rakshasas. You see, Hanuman is not only a person of physical valor, but he is also a very, very wise man. He was the minister of Sugriva. And while meeting Rama also, he spoke in such a chaste language that Rama appreciated his language. Rama said, nobody except a person who has studied all the 3 Vedas, except a person who knows the Vyakarana, who has studied Vyakarana several times, except such a person, this particular chaste language cannot be spoken by any other ordinary man. So that is what Rama says. That is a great certificate given by Rama to Hanuman. Then similarly, on several occasions we see, even in this Sundara Kanda. The Sundara Kanda, we are now seeing the summary of the Sundara Kanda. Sundara means beautiful. Why is it called Sundara Kanda? Of course, Kishkindha Kanda, okay, it is named because all that happened in Kishkindha. And then Aranya Kanda because all that happened in Aranya. Why is it called Sundara Kanda? Sundara Kanda, it is not referring to Lankanagara or anything. Sundara, it is the poetry in that say particular part of the book is so beautiful. And the type of arguments which take place within the mind of Hanuman, they are also so educative. They are so beautiful, and then Hanuman, he does a lot of thinking, he does a lot of deliberation. He tries to see, he particularly searches each and every house of, house in that Lanka. And then when he doesn't find, how he initially gets depressed, then how he reassures himself. All that psychological, what all happens in his mind, it is something which is wonderfully described by Valmiki. Then how he reassures himself, and then again how he goes about searching every place, and then what logic he adopts. And then here, after meeting Sita, he could have quietly come back, but then he doesn't. Then he deliberates, oh, it is not enough if I just do the act which is told by my master, I have to do something more. A very good minister should not only confine himself to whatever duty has been given by his boss, but he should do something more. Suppose your boss gives you some little bit of duty. If you do something more, then you are the right, assistant. So the boss likes you. Not only that, he is a wise minister, because he knows that if Sita has to be taken back, what is the process in which Sita can be taken back? Suppose Rama comes. There are 4 strategies by which you can handle an enemy. That is Sama. Sama means by gentle persuasion, by gentle talk, by discussions, mediation, etc., etc. That is Sama. Then Dana. Dana is by giving something. By giving something, you get back what you want. That is, suppose there is some enemy who has conquered your land or who has taken away something belonging to you. Then you have to give something. If Sama doesn't work, then you have to give something to him and then get back what you want. That is Dana. Then the other way is to create a division among the enemy, in the enemy camp. Suppose the enemy is a powerful fellow. In that enemy camp, we are supposed to win over somebody, like all the modern countries do now. When they wanted to break Soviet Russia, all the Western nations, they invested so much of money, and then they broke Soviet Russia. And Soviet Russia might be planning to do something equally serious in some other country. So all these, there may be some planning to do something in our country, like they are trying to do so much of mischief in our country. So each country tries to do some mischief in the neighboring country, isn't it? So that is what is called Bheda. Bheda means to divide. Bheda means to divide. Bheda. So to divide the enemy camp, win over somebody, and then with the help of an insider you are going to occupy. With the help of an insider you are going to conquer. That is Bheda. When this Bheda also doesn't work, then Dandopaya. Danda means you have to jolly well invade, you have to jolly well use force and control. So Hanuman deliberates on all these 4 points. You see, there are only 4 strategies. There is no 5th strategy. The Sama, a gentle persuasion, is one strategy. Dana, giving something, is another strategy. Bheda, creating enmity, is another strategy. And then Danda, these 4 strategies. Sama doesn't work on these people because these people are so stinkingly rich. He assesses every point. He examines every strategy. Na sama rakshassu gunaya kalpate, na danam arthopachiteshu yujyate. This gentleness is not going to help because these people are rakshasas by nature. Rakshasa, very harsh people, cruel people by nature. So this sama, gentle persuasion, is not going to work. And then these people are so stinkingly rich that dana also is not going to work. And Bheda also is not possible because this fellow is so strong and he has controlled everybody else under his thumb. Then the only strategy seems to be Danda, Dandopaya. The only strategy seems to be war. If war is inevitable, then you have to know the strength of the enemy. So know the enemy is one of the primary principles in the war. If you don't know your enemy, know the enemy is one famous statement by one Chinese writer. One Chinese writer wrote a book called The Art of War. In that, one main statement is know the enemy. Of course, if you read Kautilya's Arthashastra, you also find several statements like that. Kautilya's Arthashastra is again on how to make friends, how to make friends with the enemy of the enemy. So such things, there are so many things are described in Kautilya's Arthashastra. So he deliberates on all those points, and then he comes to the conclusion that except dandopaya, except attack, there is no other strategy is going to work. So if war is inevitable, I have to know the strength. So that is the reason why he smashes that gate, he breaks that gate, and then he waits for people to, he just sits there and then waits for people to come. So initially some soldiers come, foot soldiers, he thrashes them and sends away. And again some more important people come, he again thrashes them and sends away. Then again more important people, all these ministers and ministers' sons, they come. He also thrashes them. So that is what he sees. That is what we see here. Pancha senagragan hatva sapta mantrisutanapi shuram ch nishpishya grahanam samupagamat. Pancha senagragan hatva. He killed 5 chieftains. 5, so you can say chieftain of an army unit. So 5 unit leaders, they came and he smashed all those unit leaders. And then sapta mantrisutanapi, the sons of various councillors, ministers, 7 people came. So all those 7 people he thrashed them. Shuram Akshancha Nishpishya. Ravana's young son, Aksha Kumara, his name was Aksha Kumara. And then that Aksha Kumara also, there is a big battle which goes on between Hanuman and Aksha Kumara, which is described in a beautiful way in Sundarakanda. And then how he catches hold of that fellow's legs, and then he just whirls him around and then thrashes him on the ground like you just hit with some stick or something like that. He thrashes on the ground and then breaks his head. So it is described like that. Nishpishya, this word you see, Nishpishya, Sura Akshamcha Nishpishya. Of course, here, Nikshipya it is there. What does your book say? Nishpishya. Nishpishya is one version. This book says Nikshipya. Okay, it is also okay. Grahanam samupagamat. That is, he got captured. So this getting captured also as a matter of strategy. So this Hanuman is also a person with so many boons from so many gods. And then even this Brahmastra, the mightiest of the weapon is Brahmastra. This is Brahma's weapon, the creator's own weapon. So even that creator's own weapon, it temporarily binds him. And Brahma himself gave a boon that, okay, my astra will temporarily, it will bind you. Then thereafter, you will be free. So then he got caught by that Brahmastra. When the son of Ravana, he threw that astra, he got caught because he wanted to see that Ravana also. How this fellow is going to speak, what is his attitude, all that thing he wanted to see. So as a matter of strategy, he got caught. Then Astrena unmuktamatmanam nyatva paita mahadvarat marshayan rakshasan viro yantrinastan yadruchaya. Then he realized, immediately after some time, he realized that he was free from the arrow, but still he was pretending as though he was caught, because even after he was bound by Brahmastra, all these Rakshasas, they again tied him with ropes. So, okay, he continued, he enjoyed, he allowed them all their foolishness. Marshayan Rakshasan Viraha, he tolerated all that. Marshanam means tolerating. He just endured all that, he was just watching. And then he just tolerated all of them. Yantrinaha means all the people who were actually trying to control him. Niyantrana is to control. Yadruchaya, by his own free will, he was just tolerating all that. Then tato dagdva purim lankam rute sitam cha maithilim ramaya priyamakhyatum punarayan mahakapihi tato dagdva purim lankam. Then thereafter, what does he do? Of course, he goes to the court of Ravana. He has a dialogue, long talk with Ravana. All that is, we'll see in Sundarakanda. Then what is the punishment given to him? The punishment given to him is, okay, the dearest thing for a monkey is its tail. So let us cut its tail, somebody says. Then Vibhishana, the younger brother of Ravana, says, No, no, it's not proper to mutilate. After all, this fellow is a messenger from Rama. It is not proper to mutilate him. It is proper to just cause some nuisance to him, cause some small damage to him. Okay, you set fire to that, what is this, tail. Then they tie so many clothes and whatnot, and then they set fire to the tail. That becomes a very convenient tool for this gentleman to burn this entire city. So he jumps from house to house, house to house, and then he puts his tail in the window, and then sets fire to this house, jumps to the next house, puts the tail inside, and then sets fire to that. So it becomes a very, very convenient torch to torch the entire city. So that is what happens. So tato dagdva purim lankam rute sitam cha maithilim, except that particular Ashoka Vana, except that particular garden where Sita is there. Otherwise he destroys the whole city. Then Ramaya priyamakhyatum punarayan mahakapihi. Then he flew back. Punarayat mahakapihi. He flew back in order to tell the good news to Rama. Then sobhigamya mahatmanam krutva ramam pradakshinam nyavedayadameyatma drushta siteti tatvatah. Then saha abhigamya mahatmanam. So then he approached Mahatma Rama. Rama is addressed as Mahatma. Mahatma means great soul. Mahatma. Krutva pradakshinam. So he also went round. In fact, that is the practice. You see, in olden days, if you see an elder, so one has to go round, one has to just do that pradakshina. Like when we go to a temple, we go round that temple and then do that is called pradakshinam. We just go around the temple, that is circumambulation, pradakshinam, and then you do namaste then. So like that he just went round, and then he said Nyavedayat. Nyavedayat means he reported. What? And there is the drushta siteti tatvatah. He did not elaborate on how he went and then how he flew and then what type of fight he had and all that. He did not tell all that. The very words he said were drushta Sita. Sita has been seen. In fact, that is what he wants to listen. Rama wants to know whether Sita is seen or not. He is not interested in so many details. So the first news is, yes, Sita found. So in a telegraphic language, Sita found. So in a telegraphic language he communicated. Because the communication has to be very quick. The message has to be quick. And thereafter, okay, you can elaborate. So you can see that shloka also. The same word which is there in that shloka in Sundarakanda is mentioned here. Drushta site eti tatvatah nyavedayad ameyatma. Ameyatma. There is one adjective for Hanuman. Ameyatma. That is, earlier you said Mahatma to Rama. Rama is called a great soul. And this gentleman Hanuman is called Ameyatma, immeasurable, something which cannot be measured. It is somewhat higher than, Rama himself. Maha is mighty, great. Ameya means something which cannot be measured, something which cannot be compared. So that is such a great person. Drushta siteti tatvatah. Then from here, the summary of Yuddhakanda starts from this next shloka, that is 79. Tatas Sugriva Sahito Gatva Tiram Mahodadhehe Samudram Kshobhayamasa Sharairaditya Sannibhaihi. Tataha Sugriva Sahitaha Gatva Tiram Mahodadhehe. Then along with this Sugriva, Rama went to Tiram. Tiram means the coast. He reached the coast of that great mighty ocean, and then he tried to, then we see a great description of how he surveys the whole area, and then what exactly can we do, how exactly can we cross, and then unless we build a bridge, there is no means to cross. And then he wanted to know how exactly it can be done. And then he prayed to Samudra, the god of ocean. The mighty god of ocean did not bother. So he took a huge mighty arrow and then he was about to shoot. Then Samudra got panicky, and then he himself appears, and then he gives a plan. Samudram Kshobhayamasa Sharaihi Aditya Sannibhaihi. He, with a very mighty arrow, he actually shook the ocean to its depths. So that is what he says. He vexed the ocean, or rather he shook the ocean right down to its depths. That is Shobhayamasa. Shobha means creating such an internal turmoil in the sea. So that is what is Shobha. Shobhayamasa Sharaihi Aditya Sannibhaihi. Aditya means sun, as glorious or as powerful as the sun. We do not know what exactly was, the strategy. Whether this word Aditya doesn't mean anything else, what type of weapon was used by Rama in order to create some disturbance in the sea, we do not know. But then Samudra, this god of ocean, the ocean god, so he appears. Darshayamasa chatmanam samudra saritam patihi samudra vachanachaiva nalam setumakarayat. Then Darshayamasa cha atmanam. This he showed himself, who the ocean god showed himself, and on his word, Samudra Vachanat, on his advice, Nalam Setumakarayat, Rama entrusted the job of building a bridge to Nala, a person called Nala, who was, we can say he was a big engineer at that time. So he took the job of constructing the bridge. Nalam Setumakarayat. So this is the famous Rama Setu now. Rama Setu, it is called Rama Setu in our tradition. Whereas the British people, they came and then they called it Adam's Bridge. So this Rama Setu, see, we are now forgetting. And in all the maps, it is shown as Adam's Bridge and not as Rama Setu. So this Rama Setu is again a great wonder. A lot of research has been done on that. Lot many people have written on that. Lot many people have projected, have advanced two contradicting views. One view that it is a natural formation, another view that it is something which is man-made. So we do not know the fact. But then this is something which is a bone of contention now, a matter of contention now. But our tradition says this is something which is built by that particular mighty army. Then Tena Gatva Purim Lankam Hatva Ravanamahave Ramas Sita Manuprapya Param Vridam Upagamat. Then in one line, in one shloka, the entire Yuddha Kanda is being summarized. So Tena Gatva Purim Lankam Hatva Ravanamahave. By that bridge, the entire Rama and his mighty army, it crossed over the sea. And then Rama regained Sita, Sitam Anuprapya, having regained. Then Param Vridam Upagamat. Vrida means a sense of shame, guilt, all those things. Why? Because this lady was captured, this lady was abducted by a demon and then kept in a demon's house for 1 year. How can he take her back? Okay, as a Kshatriya, it was his duty to get her back. As a Kshatriya, it was his duty to prove his valor. Otherwise, Rama would be held as some sort of nincompoop, some useless person who has allowed his wife to be abducted by a demon. So, in order to get rid of that blame, in order to overcome that blame that Rama is an incapable person, he has to demonstrate his valor. And for demonstrating his valor, he has gone and then he has killed Ravana, he has defeated the whole army. So then, after all that, then he still feels guilty for one reason. That is, she has stayed in the enemy's house for 1 year. And if I take her back, what do people think? So that is a great dilemma. It is a great... Of course, Rama doesn't distrust. Rama doesn't suspect Sita. Rama knows that Sita is... after all, Rama doesn't behave like a god. The point is, between Rama and Krishna, if we see, Krishna says that he is the god. Rama says, Rama Atmanam Manusham Manye. I consider myself a human being, he says. Repeatedly, when some other people say, you are an avatar, Rama says, I am a Manushya. And this is a special type of avatar where the God has come as a human being and then he wants to demonstrate the dharma for a human being. So if he is a superhuman, then human beings will not bother. Suppose Krishna, we don't want to imitate Krishna, we cannot imitate Krishna because we know that Krishna is a superhuman being. Rama we want to imitate. That is why people say Ramadivad Vartitavyam na Ravanadivat. That is, one has to behave like Rama, one has to cultivate the characteristics of Rama, not the characteristics of Ravana. Ramadivad Vartitavyam na Ravanadivat. So like that, As a human being, he has to say demonstrate the virtues. This is something which is possible for a human being. He has to show. So that is the reason why Rama doesn't claim to be the God. And then he follows all the human, etiquette, the human values. So that is the reason why he feels ashamed. He cannot take back unless there is some little bit of some public acceptance and all that. Sita, then what does he do? Tamuvacha tato Ramaha parusham jana samsadi amrushyamana sa Sita vivesha jvalanam sati. So amrushyamana sati. First, what does Rama do? Rama, he told certain rather unpleasant words. Tam uvacha tato Ramaha parusham. Parusham is actually harsh. Harsh to her, but from our point of view, if you see, he just tells in a very, very matter-of-fact way. What does he say? As a Kshatriya, it has been my duty to vindicate my, capacity. It is my duty to rescue you because you have been kidnapped by this demon. But now that you are free, I do not know whether I can take you back. You are free to go anywhere because you have been in the enemy's house for 1 year and I cannot take you back. You are free to go anywhere. So that is what he says. And that is something which is very, very harsh for Sita. So that is the Parusham Vakyam. Then Sita also talks back. Sita also says, you are talking like an Anarya. You are talking like such a villager. You are talking like a villager and Anarya. Then she restrains herself and then says, okay, there is no point. And then she asks Lakshmana to create a pyre for her. And then Lakshmana looks at Rama. Rama keeps quiet. Rama doesn't say anything. And then Lakshmana creates a pyre there. And then she gets into that pyre. And then the Agni Deva, the god of fire, himself appears. And then he says, no, Sita is somebody who is the goddess, the very goddess. And then I am in fact purified by the touch of, Sita. And then he says, Sita is pure, you accept Sita. Then all the devas, all the gods and all the people, Gandharvas and all these people, they come and then they say, yes, they praise it. And then Rama takes her back. So what does it mean? It is basically a question of public acceptance. Whatever a king does, it has to be accepted by all the people. So there should be king, any ruler looks for public acceptance. He can't do anything as he likes. So that is the point. Tamuvacha tato Rama. Okay. So Amrushyamana sa Sita vivesha jvalanam sati. She entered the fire. Then tato gnivachanat Sitam jnatva vigata kalmasham karmana tena mahata trilokyam sacharacharam sadevarshiganam tushtam raghavasya mahatmanah. Then tato agnivachanat. Agni himself appears and then says, Sita is vigata kalmasha. She is actually without any kalmasha, without any sort of impurity. So that's what he says. Then by that act, karmana tena mahata, by that great miracle, by that great miraculous act, Trilokyam, the three worlds, all the three worlds, they felt happy. Trilokyam sacharacharam, sadevarshiganam, all the devarshis, all the devarshi means the rishis, the divine rishis, and also the people on earth, all the people, they were very, very happy. So that is the reason why Rama also, he took back, he accepted her back. So this is basically a question of public perception, because in law there is one saying, you should not only do justice, no, not that, justice should not only be done, but appear to have been done. You should do justice, but you should also make it appear that justice is done. So that is the point. So like that, he follows that particular thing. Sadevarshiganam tushtam raghavasya mahatmana. Then babhau ramas samprahrushtaha pujitas sarvadaivataihi. Then when all the, gods, they came, and then gods themselves congratulated him, honored him. Pujitas sarvadaivataihi. Sarvadaivataihi. Pujitah means he is honored, congratulated by all the gods. Then Rama became happy. Then abhishicya lankayam rakshasendram vibhishanam. What is that line? Yeah, I read it. Karmana tena mahata trilokyam sacharacharam. Okay, then babhau ramas samprahruštah pujitas sarvadaivataihi abhishicya chalankayam rakshasendram vibhishanam krutakrutyasstada ramo vijvarah pramumodah. Then Abhishich Lankayam. Then what happened to Lanka? After all the Ravana, all the demons have been killed, then the younger brother of Ravana, he had come to the side of Rama. He in fact, he tries to persuade his brother to give back Sita. Then, but then Ravana doesn't agree. Then Vibhishana feels bad, and then in fact on the other hand, he insults Vibhishana. When Ravana insults Vibhishana, then Vibhishana quits Ravana's court, and then he comes to Rama and then seeks the surrender of Rama, and Rama accepts him. So that is what happens. So then Rama installs Vibhishana as the king of that Lanka, and then he is happy. Krutakrutyaha means his task has been done. Krutam krutyam. That is, what all has to be done has been done. So that such a person is called Krutakrutya. Then Vijvaraha means he is rid of any type of anxiety. Jwaram, you know. Jwaram means something like a fever. Vijvaraha means got rid of all that anxiety. Vijvaraha Pramumodaha. He was very happy. Then Devatabhyo Varam Prapya Samuthapya Chavanaran Ayodhyam Prasthito Ramaha Pushpakena Suhrudurutaha. Then Devatabhyo Varam Prapya, having got various boons from the gods, then Samuthapya Vanaran, he got a big boon, that is many Vanara heroes were also killed. All these Vanara means this monkey. We can't say monkey or ape or something we do not know, some sort of subhuman, say, tribe. Of course, Valmiki is going to say that they were all born under the, say, boon of different deities. So, for example, Indra's son, for example, Sugriva, and somebody else, Vayu, the wind god's son is Hanuman. So, like that, various monkey chiefs, they were all born on the, say, with the blessing of some divine being. So, like that, they became very, very powerful. So, Devatabhyo Varam but then many of them had died also. And all those people, they were revived, they were brought back to life. Samuthapya Vanaran, they were all brought back to life. Then Rama got into that Pushpaka Vimana, Pushpakena Suhrudvrataha. There was one Vimana. Vimana means an aeroplane. In modern terms, an aeroplane or an aircraft, let us say. Some sort of primitive we can't say primitive aircraft, because there is a book called Bharadwaja Vaimanika Shastra. In fact, I told in the introduction, when reference to Bharadwaja came, there was one ancient Rishi, probably he was a sort of scientist. He wrote a book called Vaimanika Shastra. How exactly we have to prepare some aircrafts, and then what sort of light metal has to be prepared, and light metal which can fly in the air, and then what sort of propulsion it has to have. So all these things, they are described in that Vaimanika Shastra. So there must have been some type of aircraft, which is, of course, the technology is now forgotten. Maybe how we lost it, we do not know. Because this Vimana is one term which is used in several places in our, say, various old books. Even including Panchatantra. Including Panchatantra or Hitopadesha, there is a story where one fellow comes in a small aircraft. So, of course, that we can dismiss as Panchatantra. Even if you dismiss, there is a big description in Ramayana about the Pushpaka Vimana. And plus there is a book. And in dictionary, the word for aircraft is there. Vyomayanam, Vimanostri. There is a word in Amarakosha. Vyomayanam, Vimana. So that word is there. So some technology which is lost now. Then Bharadwajashramam gatva Ramas Satyaparakramaha Bharatasyantike Ramo Hanumantam Vyasarjayat. Then what next? Then he has got back Sita, everybody is happy. Then he has installed, say, this gentleman Vibhishana in Lanka. Then by that time, even that 14-year period is over. He was exiled for 14 years, isn't it? For 14 years, he was supposed to stay in the jungle. So that 14 years term is over, all his task is also over. He has to come back to Ayodhya. Then, Ayodhya right now, he is being ruled by Bharata. He knows that Bharata is a good fellow, but still he sends Hanuman as a messenger earlier. Then Ayodhyam prasthito Ramah, I read it, Bharadwaja ashramam gatva Ramas Satyaparakrama. He goes to Bharadwaja's ashrama first, that Rishi's ashrama. Ramah Satyaparakrama. The word Satya Parakrama is actually, we can interpret in two ways. Satyam or truthfulness is his great valor. That is, truthfulness itself is his valor. That is, he is so firm in his truthfulness. So that is one meaning. And the other meaning is, he is a person of unfailing valor. Satya Parakrama. If you put emphasis on Parakrama, then unfailing valor. If you put emphasis on Satyam, that is very firm in truthfulness. So that is both ways you can interpret. And that is how commentators have used that word. Then Bharatasyantike Ramaha Hanumantam Vyasarjayat. He sent Hanuman to Bharata to just find out what exactly is his demeanor. Is he really willing to give back the empire, or what is his position? So Hanuman goes there. He finds Bharata as a very, very obedient person, very gentle person. So that he comes back and then he reports to Rama. Then Punarakhyaikam Jalpan Sugriva Sahitastada Pushpakam Tat Samaruhya Nandigramam Yayautada. Then Rama, what does he do? Punaha Akhyayikam Jalpan. Then again he got back into this Pushpaka Vimana, in that he got back into the aircraft along with Sugriva and others. And then just recalling what all had happened. Oh, at that time, so this fellow, he shot an arrow, and then, yeah, you were injured at that time, or rather we hit him in that manner. So Akhyayikam Jalpan, recalling various incidents. They just got back. They were just getting back. And then they came to Pushpakam Samaruhya Nandigramam Yayau. He reached that Nandigrama where Bharata was actually waiting. And in fact, Bharata is such a sincere person that Bharata is actually waiting for arrival of Rama. So he had earlier told, if you do not come back within 14 years, I am going to put myself, stand in the fire and burn myself. So he had created a fire, and then he was about to enter the fire. At that time Hanuman comes, wait. And then he says, no, Rama is coming. So that is the type of person Bharata is. So Bharata is again shown in Ramayana as a very, very noble character. So we will stop here. Harihi Om Tat Sat.